Thank you everybody for coming to the 6th annual Leaders in Energy 4Gen Awards and Holiday Party. I'm going to read from notes here because I'm a fill-in for Beth Offenbacher, who's taking a little bit ill tonight, and nothing life-threatening or anything like that. But we're delighted to have you here. Janine Finello is coming up as our fearless leader, if you will. So we have an excellent program lined up for you. Hope everybody can get a seat. This year's theme is Alliances for Action, Coalitions, Collaborations, and Partnerships. As you know from the African proverb, when you want to go fast, go alone. When you want to go far, go together. And these honorees are doing exactly just that. We know from recent stories in the media there's been some friction among the generations as to if we're all doing all we can to address climate change. But there are also so many good things that are happening across the generations. Also, this annual awards program hosted by Leaders in Energy is about highlighting how each generation is actively taking steps to create a cleaner and more sustainable future for individuals, for our families, for our communities, for our planets, animals, oceans, and trees, everything living around us. We'd like to especially thank Pepco and the Pepco Gallery for kindly being our host this year. I'd like everybody to join me in welcoming William R. Ellis, the Senior Portfolio Manager of Energy Efficiency, and described as being at the forefront of energy solutions. He'll share a few words with us on working on at Pepco to move us to a more sustainable future.
Good evening, everyone. These lights are bright. You have to stand here to really see it. Again, I'm William Ellis. I'm the Senior Portfolio Manager for Pepco and leading energy efficiency for my team. And on behalf of the 3,000 employees that work for Pepco, we just want to say thank you and welcome to our Pepco Edison Place Gallery. As you can see, our gallery hosts different numerous exhibits throughout the year. And we are truly just thankful and gracious to have you guys as leaders in energy as our particular host here tonight. We do allow this space for different exhibits as well as vendor opportunities, functions, networking receptions like this at no cost to nonprofit organizations. So not only this nonprofit organization, but others, if you need an exhibit space, we are here to help, so feel free to call us. And again, this space is just one of the numerous different things that we do every day to reach out to our community to create a more energy and sustainable environment. I was happy to attend this tonight, and then I was asked to say a few words because my role is in energy efficiency aligns a lot with the mission of Leaders in Energy. And in fact, I think what we do as building a community to allow our community to take a part of energy efficiency solutions that are more sustainable and impactful to our customers and residents that we serve each and every day is something that we truly get behind in our mission here at Pepco. So we're just really, enthusiastic and happy to be supporters of this Leaders in Energy organization. I've been working in the energy efficiency space for roughly around a decade within the utility now. And so what my team do each and every day is we help customers save energy and hopefully save money on their energy bill through whether that's switching their lights to LEDs, upgrading their HVAC equipment, as well as making their home more comfortable and livable through air sealing, insulation, and numerous other energy efficiency upgrades. And I'm happy to say since 2008, we've helped customers save roughly around $2.3 billion off of their energy bills through the energy efficiency upgrades that my team at Pepco has been able to achieve throughout the DC and Maryland metropolitan region. That's equivalent to saving about 2.5 million megawatt hours or taking over 400,000 cars off the road in a year. So truly great example. Thank you. As we enter, the season, enter the holiday season, I'm just so grateful and thankful for the opportunities that God has blessed me with, but I'm also cognizant of those who are less fortunate. And so one of the things that we have done is really partner with some low-income agencies and other advocates to make sure that we create energy efficiency programs for those of our customers who are most vulnerable. So we have a lot of initiatives, including low-income energy efficiency programs, solar programs, all tasked at reducing the energy burden of our most vulnerable customers for about 50%. So we've been trying really hard, especially over this holiday season, to be cognizant of the people who spend 3 times as much on their energy bill as normal customers. And so with that, I'm just really happy that Leaders in Energy decided to have their award ceremony here. I want to congratulate all of the wonderful awardees, really talented in their field, and should be congratulated tonight. So on behalf of Pepco, I want to say thank you. Our home is your home, so please be comfortable and enjoy the events.
We really appreciate your kind sponsorship, and hopefully this won't be the last time you'll see us, William, here at Pepco at Edison Gallery. Is Janine coming up for a round 2? Okay. Before Janine comes up, I just want to do one public service announcement. If you are parked at the lot, which is just due north of us here, it does close at 9 o'clock. So if you did park there, just be mindful to kind of bolt out of here around 8:50 so that you're not locked until the morning. All right, well, I'll give
Hey, you know it's a successful event when you can't even find a place in the front to sit. I'm like in the middle of the place. But I'm just delighted to see so many people here. And first of all, I have to say thank you to John Gaffigan. He has just on the spot become our master of ceremonies. And can you do the slide, Xavier? Beth Offenbacher was going to be our MC tonight and unfortunately fell ill. But if you have a chance to meet her in the future, I highly recommend that you do. She runs our Green Career Training. Just wanted to, I hope she'll be okay. I think there's something going around. Next slide, please. And also, of course, wanted to thank William for his wonderful remarks. And I want to say it is an absolute thrill to be here at this beautiful gallery. I mean, don't you think this is just fantastic? I remember being here a couple years ago for an event thinking, I think I'd like to have a Leaders in Energy event here, so be careful what you wish for, it just might come true. So just really thrilled to have everyone here. And I think there's a significance to being in an art gallery. I don't know if you're familiar with STEM, the science, technology, engineering, math. I think we have to get the A in there. And some of you may have already heard about STEAM. I just really think we need that creative part to the kind of work that we do. So I just really love being here tonight and so glad that you could help come and celebrate with us. And I just did want to say, I was happy that Will could join us because is Will still here or did he went away? Oh, Will, you're still there. Hey, and I want to say Will was described to me as being at the forefront of energy solutions. And when I heard that, I knew he was the right guy for us because we are advancing clean energy and sustainable solutions. So thank you again, Will, for coming and supporting our event. Really do appreciate that. That's me. Xavier, the next slide, please. Isn't that a beautiful photo, that one in the middle? Doesn't it remind you of the Oscars? I think it's our green Oscars, and I just really love it. And that's what we're trying to do here, is to recognize people that are doing so many important things. We feel, and I'll get into some of the bad news, just that we need a critical shift in our whole economy and how we're doing things. And I think we are shift makers. Wasn't there something in Harry Potter about shifters? Anyhow. But we've had, this is our 6th annual event, and we do a theme for each one of our events, and I just wanted to say that, and you can see some of those up here, and can I give me some water or something to drink? I'm just kind of dry. Can't have wine yet. Okay. So our theme tonight is building alliances through coalition, collaboration, and partnerships. And I thought it was kind of neat, this African proverb, when you want to go fast, go alone, but when you want to go far, go together. And I just thought that really encapsulated what we're trying to do in our theme tonight, bringing all these wonderful people that are really working together to make a difference. Xavier, next slide, please. So, how many of you, oh, thank you so much, John. How many of you are familiar with the most recent UN report that came out last week? It is like a major bummer, talking about just the drastic reductions that need to be made. And it says it's going to require a fundamental structural change. Well, how are we going to do that? How do we do it? Our whole society is built on fossil energy. So, I point you to that trailer called 2040. This is a fascinating movie. It's made by an Australian filmmaker. He's got a young child right now. She's going to be in her mid-20s in 2040. So he's interviewed all these people trying to come up with solutions of what can we do. And he says a lot of them are already in our existing toolbox. How do we enable this in terms of decarbonizing technologies, regenerative agriculture, all kinds of different things that are out there? How do we do that? So I guess that's the role of Leaders in Energy. I see that we're really working to build this bridge to a positive future. So that's what we're really trying to do, and that's why I'm so glad you are all here tonight, because I feel that you're part of our bigger community. In fact, how many of you have been to a Leaders in Energy event before? Not bad. That's really great. And for those of you who have not been to a Leaders in Energy event, I encourage you to learn more about it, talk to others, and find out how you can become a part of this and build a bridge to the future. Let's do the next slide. Yeah, it took us a while. So, why are we doing 4 generations? We just feel we need the talent, the creativity, the imagination, ingenuity of all the generations. So, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Milo Kress, the founder of Straw Free. He was like 9 years old when he came up with this. This is a really interesting guy. I Googled him. He invented a solar powered popcorn maker. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's just amazing what he's doing. And then you've got John Goodenough, who became the oldest person at age 97 to win a Nobel Prize for his work on lithium-ion batteries. So it's like, yes, we can harness all of our ingenuity. We need to do it. I mean, I really feel like we are encountering something like a world war, where we really need to mobilize our resources for the challenges that are facing us. And just on the right-hand side, to give you an idea of the generations and their ages for our 4 generations. And I should say, we've blended Gen Z and Millennial, and we may start to phase out World War II. It's unfortunate. As a human, we don't live forever. And some of those in the older categories may be departing to different dimensions. So, anyhow. But next slide. You can see we've got a lot of good people coming up. The young generation, Greta Thunberg. Woohoo! Isn't it fantastic? And she says, no one is too small to make a difference. And Ernest Moniz, he's our former U.S. Energy Secretary. I had a chance to hear him talking about we are crawling the talk on climate change. We need to be walking the talk and accelerating it. And he talks about the power of coalitions. And it's like, ding, ding, that's what we're going to have for our theme this year. So I see some others cheering in the audience. I think I see me back there with the Green New Deal, Virginia Coalition. I'm sorry, it was so hard to pick our wordies and everything that we had to come up with a specific category just this year, just saying it, of emerging leaders where we felt you were initiating new things and we wanted to shine kind of the spotlight to help you accelerate even further. So we'll talk about that later. But as I said, Ernest Moniz really inspired our 4th gen. Tina's here. How many times? 2 minutes left. Oh, 3 minutes left. Oh my gosh. And I just say thank you to so many people. Okay, next slide. I haven't gotten to our mission. Oh, holy heck. Okay, so you can see we're fostering economic transformation. We've got some big words here, that regenerates rather than destroys. Hey, rather than destroying our ecological systems? Huh, what a concept. Are we okay, Xavier? Okay, but we're connected. There's a very sensitive Wi-Fi system here. They're connected to the nuclear power stations and all that. So anyhow, hopefully we'll be okay. Let's not have anything bad here. Okay. But seriously, we've been working on it as connecting people for green jobs Circular economy, where we're emulating nature. Do you see waste in nature? No, everything in nature is being used, part of industrial ecology. You know, how can we emulate that? And how do we move away from fossil energy? I'm not saying fossil energy is bad. Let's just get smarter. Can we do blue hydrogen? Can we do green hydrogen? What can we do smarter? So we've been looking at reducing the carbon footprint of fossil energy. These are some of our activities. Okay, I've got to really get out of here. So next slide. Okay, just quickly, these are 4 pillars: of green jobs, green marketplace, green financial need, money for the clean revolution, and multi-generational leadership. Next slide. Our awardees, okay, you know, I was going to say fantastic things about all of them, but I don't have any time left, so they're going to have to tell their own story. Okay. Sorry. Okay, Xavier. Emerging leaders, already mentioned in this category. Next slide. Pepco, again. And I guess I did want to just say one thing about Pepco and thanking them is I feel that we need a community to help us, and we need a community from the top down. You know, Pepco and those with resources and who are in existing institutions who can help us to pull in new ideas. So thank you, Will, for letting us host this event tonight and for Pepco being a partner, because that's what we really need. You know, and that's why we like the 4 generations. Let's bring the people with the new ideas in, but let's still respect and learn from those that are more accomplished. Okay, next one. Thank you to Long and Necker. Is Keller standing here? No? Anyhow, I wanted to thank Keller. He's been a sponsor for 6 years for our event, Mom's Organic Market. We get things from the Organic Garden. I hope you enjoy it. And Film Bison Media, Nick Hansen. Thank you so much, Nick, for filming our event and everything. We feel very important to film our event so that people can't be here tonight. We can still share the knowledge. Next slide. Hey, we have a silent auction. Thank you to all our benefactors. We have like 18 benefactors that donated items. Nissan car, Leaf for a 4-day auto excursion, all kinds of really wonderful things. Ocean Conservancy, beautiful basket, so many things. So check it out and do your Christmas shopping. It'll help us build our capacity as well as an organization. Next slide. Okay, as I mentioned, and do you know who someone donated a water efficient toilet? Yes. So if you're Christmas shopping for your house, you might want to check out the auction. Okay, next slide. Thank you so much to our board and organizational leads for shaping us. Next, for shaping our mission. Thank you to our advisors, and have them listed here. Next slide. Thank you to our volunteers. And I just want to say one thing. Do you see on the right-hand side committees? Do you see how many committees we have organized this thing tonight? It is amazing. It's a Herculean task, and I just want to thank all of our volunteers for everything that they have done for our event tonight. And a special shout out just for Linda Mansdorf, who is our new volunteer coordinator. And I'm just hoping she'll stay with us as our volunteer coordinator. I see that she's smiling in the back. Hopefully many hands to make for life work. And you'll be here next year. Okay, and thank you again for your support. Thank you for being here. I'm just so thrilled. Looking forward to all of our awardees. And you're saying, just get out of here. So I'm going to. Bye. Thank you. And where is John?
Right here.
You're back. We're now going to proceed to our awards program. And watch this glass of water here.
I think so far we've been very good and cautious about not creating any water hazards in aisle 3. Again, apologies, I'm reading from the script as we're filming. Tonight we turn to the words portion of our evening. This really is what everybody is here for, and we're really delighted to have some great people that have done wonderful work in our industry. And to help promote sustainability locally and across America. So what we have, we're going to have World War II, Gen Z, Millennial, Gen X, Baby Boomer within our award structure. Each of the awardees are going to be introduced by the individual who either nominated them for this award or by a colleague or friend who knows them well. Our first honoree, I would like to ask Leaders in Energy member Jim Schulman to come forward and introduce Andy Austin, Urban Ecological Designer.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. My name is Jim Schulman, as John has indicated, and it is my distinct honor to introduce my longtime community sustainability mentor and friend, Mr. Andrew Houston, FAIA, Fellow of the American Institute of Architects. There is no mini biography in your program, but if you look online and you received invitations, you might have seen that some information about Andy's leadership in the fields of urban environmental design and energy planning at both the AIA, American Institute of Architects, and at HUD, U.S. Housing and Urban Development, and at the President's Council for Sustainable Development, when that existed. I'd like to mention two things that I gleaned from Andy back in the early 90s when I worked with him and his wife Susanna, who is here tonight. Susanna, you want to raise your hand? Okay. When I was active with the board of the Community Sustainability Resource Institute. First, I learned that the term sustainability itself is essentially a question. Which activities, developments, and policies contribute to the sustainability of both the natural and built environments, and which do not, and to what degree? It is indeed human communities grounded in place and culture, as well as plant and animal communities that we want to help preserve and thrive, and not burn out in flares of exploitation and physically impossible endless growth. Point number two, I came to appreciate that urbanization cannot exist without being in symbiosis with rural and wilderness lands. Urban and rural are two sides of the same coin of a living system, and those two aspects are currently badly out of balance. With these realizations, I ask you to please give a warm welcome to Andrew F. Houston.
Any experts about this? Here? Now I have to say something. Well, I'm very happy to be here, very honored, and also kind of surprised. I haven't been back here for probably 12 years in a way that my wife and I had to drive through rush hour traffic last night to get here. So, but I've been a citizen here for 40 years. That's about half my life. And basically, that period of time was thrilling. But at the same time, I have to say, we had something interrupt, 9/11. And before that, essentially a change so that the actual investment, the actual recognition of the issues we're talking about, when we talk about sustainability, really haven't come back to the fore. I believe that we're at that point now because the newspapers are reminding us why. And so, that said, here we are, considering what I think of as the pivotal time in this century, which is, yes, a presidential election in America, but really, face it, many, many things that are happening. the UN is saying that the temperature is really serious. And we are talking about food security. And what I see, which is we have no inventories of eco-crisis. So there's a whole lot of work out there for people in this field. And the field, I think, is being brought back to life by the bad news, but essentially by people like Janine, who's, I'd say, 6 years now into creating the new movement. The new movement has to be people who care, and people who learn, and people who believe in science, and people who are also willing to say there are limits. Well, I'm sorry to say that, there aren't very many that work for a living that are simply focused on how to save the planet, how to save the species. Here we are in the midst, or not the midst, perhaps the beginning, of what's being called the sixth extinction, or other kinds of labels. The one that I've just heard recently has to do with World War Zero. Well, I'd like to know something. In this room, are there people here who are millennials? Hands raised? Oh, fair number, fair number. I'd say most of us are in the category of having created eco-crises, but we're here because we believe that that must be dealt with. So all that said, one of the things that I would like to point to is the kinds of collaborations that I was able, and others, I must say there are a number of my friends here today that I haven't seen for quite a while, and who are leaders as well in the environmental movement, or what we call the urban environmental movement. The reason for that was that the biggest industrial product that modern civilization makes is urbanization. Our settlements include air bases, colleges, and so on. And we just are, at this point, recognizing that we are dysfunctionally, DYS-mantling nature. That's serious. And we do know that the warming part of it is an energy issue. So the energy solution for that may be in things that we don't have acknowledged. I understand that one of them, which is free energy or zero-point energy, is actually used in our submarines. We have that. And I understand that there's a lot more of that technology that's available. If we can get past fossil fuel and burning, we'll be in a process where we will see a remedy then of warming and climate change. That's positive. We can do that if the politics and the technology come together. But meanwhile, I would say there's probably 10,000 eco-crises that haven't been inventoried. That's a lot of work for people out here who want to organize, who want to make a living. And it's just like we're hearing about solar and we're hearing about wind. They do have technical problems, but basically they're coming down in cost and they're much more competitive. Pretty soon, we'll have those answers if we intend it. So that's the big question about America. Our country has not intended to do much in this arena. And I think it's coming. I really do. I think that the leaders in energy represents a new way, a new order of commitment, and possibly new findings, new studies, hopefully new analyses, inventories, and discoveries of what has to be done. There's so many, but they can be very, creative. Particularly if we have people who understand that this is meaningful in life. And I believe that the people that are here from the millennials, what I call plus, hyphen, plus generations are the ones that are going to have to invent their own remedial game plan. So basically, they will, we can help them. We're here to do that, and here to learn more. Why? Thank you.
Big hand for Andy, who I understand came up from Asheville, North Carolina, for the fourth working city in All right, without further ado, as we go on. Next awardees are going to be brought up are two individuals because the community we're drawing from of the Gen Z and Millennial are actively involved with our organization, and they are our future. We saw a lot of hands going up earlier there. So without further ado, please bring a warm welcome as we bring up Linda Staheli, Executive Director, Global CoLab, and Brian Coyle, Smithsonian Optimism, who will introduce Echo Teen Action Network. Linda is the founder, Executive Director of Global CoLab, which brings an intergenerational approach to addressing society's big challenges. And Brian is with Smithsonian Conservation Commons Earth Optimism. Boy, that's a lengthy title, isn't it? A program with the Smithsonian Institute that collaborates with Global CoLab on this program and my former job. Get yourself situated.
This is fun. Here. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Janine. She is an unbelievable force of nature. And I'm just so grateful that she's with us. She's really an amazing vision, Janine. So I'm here with Brian Coyle from the Smithsonian Conservation Commons, and we are together here to present the Eco Teen Action Network. We created the collaboration between the Global CoLab Network and the Smithsonian Conservation Commons. Brian and I met and put our heads together about how could we create a group of teens that could help be change makers on environmental issues in preparation for their big Earth Optimism Summit that we'll talk about in a minute. And we wanted this network to be across not just the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, but across the country and in fact across the world. So there are some slides. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so go back one. There. Okay, so last year we created we brought together young people with stakeholders, adult mentors, and experts on plastics, hunger, and climate change. And we met and we created a strategy for reaching and creating virtual rooms that we called hubs. And so tonight you will be hearing from our 6 teen ambassadors of these 3 rooms. And the focus of the hubs is really to engage virtually across regions, countries, connect with mentors and stakeholders and experts, educate and build teen leadership, and connect with existing programs, collaborate, don't duplicate, but most importantly to focus on action and to have fun. So we're looking for mentors and teens, and to help us grow this virtual community as we prepare for, next slide, the Smithsonian's April 23rd to 25th Summit, celebrating Earth Optimism, changing the conversation from doom and gloom to solutions and action. And so now we are going to have our teens that are being honored present what they are working on and what they have learned from their experience. And then one of our mentors, Miriam Gennari, will conclude. So Ashley Chung, do you want to come up next? Thank you. Saved by
That's my bad. I didn't get it.
everyone, my name is Ashley Chung and I'm a high school senior at School Without Walls here in DC. And I am one of the ambassadors for the Zero Hunger Hub with the Eco Teen Action Network, along with Sydney Rico, who is a high school student from Northern Virginia. And our mentor is Bathsheba, and she is a global science officer at the Smithsonian Institution. So next slide. We are an intergenerational team of mentors and teens collaborating to achieve the goals of zero hunger and zero waste. One-third of all of the food in America ends up in the landfill, which is why waste is such an important issue. To make change in our local community, we have published infographics, started composting and share tables in our local schools and communities, and much more. We often join forces with the Plastics Hub, which you'll hear from later today, to make our actions speak louder. Working with adult mentors, Sydney and I have been able to take advantage of their wisdom and advice, and we are so excited to do big things in our local and global communities. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I'm Sophia Alfred and I'm 17 years old.
Hi everybody, I'm Mikhail Floreska, I'm also 17 years old. We're both students at the Academy of Health Sciences at Prince George's Community College, and I am currently the SGA president of that college.
I am the lead ambassador for the Teens Dream Arts Hub, which, as Janine was saying, they need to put that A in STEM, so make it STEAM, where we use the talents, creativity, and imagination to make changes on any issue. We're here to represent the Climate Hub today because none of the members could make it here today. So let me start with one of the members, Marika. She is 13 years old and one of the past Teens Dream video competition winners. She is the original leader of the Climate Action Hub, and she has organized local strikes in Seattle, Washington in September, and started a climate action hub in her school that created a lot of interest in the area.
Our second person is Eva, who actually met Katie, who is an ambassador for the Plastic Hub. And so they met together on a trip to Fiji where they discussed climate change. One of the things that happened there is that she became a member of the CoLab network, and now she is serving as an ambassador for the Climate Hub.
Their mentor, Emma, is currently doing climate meetings in Spain, so she also cannot be with us today. What does the Climate Action Hub do? They actually connect teens with climate organizations, they help create strikes, and they work together and create clubs in their school to talk about this issue and make things happen. Mikhail will explain what they further do.
So their purpose is to learn and connect with existing climate organizations and find ways to help support their action plans. The second thing that they're mainly doing is to implement renewable energy sources in our communities and to find ways to engage teens in these online rooms and help them discuss solutions for these climate problems.
They meet every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they invite everyone to join to help grow the hub. Thank you.
Passing it over to the Plastic Hub.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kritika. I am a junior at Thomas Jefferson High School.
And I'm Kayla. I'm a junior at Yorktown High School in Arlington, Virginia, and we're the ambassadors to the Plastics Hub. So the Plastics Hub's goal is to create a global community of teen change makers that take action towards reducing single-use plastics, improving recycling programs, and encouraging thoughtful consumption through international teen-led initiatives. So our newest initiative is a proposed reusable to-go box program at National Landing, which is the surrounding area of Amazon's new headquarters in Crystal City. So we believe that there's a unique opportunity here to develop a framework of an implementation of an affordable, sustainable, zero-waste alternative to the traditional restaurant takeout container. So this program is especially important in Virginia because compared to Maryland and DC, we don't have regulations on plastic bags, straws, and styrofoam. So our goal for this upcoming year is to continue implementing our project, and we're really optimistic with all the support we've already gotten.
So with our work on the initiatives that Kayla has been mentioning, we have gained so much valuable experience that fall under two categories: leadership and collaboration. In terms of leadership, one of the best things we've learned is time management. As high school students, we have schoolwork, sports, extracurriculars, and now on top of that, environmental activism. So trust me when I say, we have gotten so much better at that. So the second thing we've learned is working with others. Collaboration is one of the biggest themes of tonight, and we have learned to speak with and assert ourselves to everyone from community members to the head of the EPA. And collaboration as the main theme of today, we need collaboration because the environment, it has to be a team effort. So we need every single generation that's here today to work with us, and hopefully we can have a sustainable future that we can all enjoy. Thank you.
Is everybody feeling very optimistic now? I am. I too want to begin by thanking Janine, wherever she is, and all of the leaders in energy here today. Hey, Janine. But above all, I want to thank these young people. When I made the movie Styrofoam Mom, it was not my intention to be a filmmaker. I knew that unlike my t-shirt says that I'm not going away, I do have a shelf life, and I won't be around forever. These young people pick up where I left off, not because I told them to. They do it because they know they will inherit the tons and tons of single-use styrofoam that we are leaving behind. It is not enough to hand them a baton or urge them to run fast as they can to save the planet. It is our job to pave the road, remove barriers, and in essence guide them towards leadership roles that they were born to fulfill. Woo! I want to thank Linda C. Healy, the founder of Global CoLab, and Brian Coyle with the Smithsonian Conservation Commons, and all their affiliates around the country. I want to thank the parents here today because they figured out the secret for getting young people off their phones. It's inspiration, and inspiration fuels ambition, and these are some very ambitious young people. If you truly want to be a leader for the future, consider becoming a mentor. Becoming a mentor with the Global CoLab ensures our leadership will be captured and sustained beyond our lifetime. So think about it, and if you can't do that, at the very least, hold the phone.
Miriam sure is a tough act to follow, I'll tell you. Big thank you to Linda and Brian and Miriam and all our young ladies and everybody, young men and women that are trying to do the forefront of the next generation. And how about the stage presence? You know, high school kids. You know, big hands for that. Our next winner is going to come from Gen X. And the third generation we're going to be honoring tonight. I'm pleased to welcome Lara Lau, Leaders in Energy member and part of our Circular Economy Working Group. will introduce this year's winner. Lara herself is a green leader whose work involves plastics reuse to her firm Plastic Tree. She will be introducing Julia Cohen, co-founder and managing director, Plastic Pollution Coalition. Without further ado, Lara, please come up.
It's my honor to introduce the next recipient, who has spent over a decade building a global alliance among organizations, businesses, policymakers, and individuals, all working toward a world that is free from plastic pollution. This organization was among the earliest to challenge the notion of a throwaway culture, the notion of a linear economy, and our culture of convenience. As a result of their public awareness campaign, educational outreach, and legislative initiatives, plastic waste surpasses as the top environmental concern among most Americans. Equally important, plastics in the ocean is the environmental issue Americans feel they can actually do something about. So I'd like to give a warm welcome to this next Generation X Award winner, Julia Cohen, co-founder and managing director of Plastic Pollution Coalition.
Okay, I did do a presentation, but it didn't fit in there, so I don't know if you can pull it up. Thank you. Yeah, I can talk while you do that. Thank you, Lara, for the very kind introduction. I look forward to testing out your plastic tree bin really soon. Congratulations to my fellow nominees, and deepest gratitude to Leaders in Energy for this award. As you've heard, I'm Julia Cohen, the Managing Director of Plastic Pollution Coalition. I'm a co-founder, along with my sister, Deanna Cohen, and 3 other folks. My sister is a visual artist. She would love to be here and be in this beautiful space with all this art. She has been, for 30 years, making work out of paper bags and then plastic bags that she hand sews together in 2- and 3-dimensional pieces. And she learned about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and became obsessed with cleaning it up, and met other people who were equally obsessed, and told me about meeting them. And I said, sounds like you need a coalition. And being an artist, she said, what's a coalition? She's on the West Coast. I've been here in DC for 25 years working in coalition politics. So without further ado, next slide, please. The Plastic Pollution Coalition is a global alliance of individuals, organizations, businesses, policymakers, all working towards a world free of plastic pollution and its toxic impacts on us, the environment, animals, the oceans, all waterways, etc. We now have, next slide please, over 1,100 members from 75 countries that are now equally split between businesses and NGOs, which I find just amazing. And they're mostly all the small businesses. And then we have thousands of individual members. We also have more than 150 notable coalition members, next slide please, including 2 former presidents and surfers, actors, chefs, musicians, etc. The Girl Scouts and the Teamsters joined the same day. We are a big, big tent. We're also a founding member of the 3-year-old worldwide movement to break free from plastic that started mainly in Southeast Asia. Next slide, please. All of which extends our reach exponentially, making our total social media reach in the millions, 17 million at latest count. We're making progress, but there is so much more to do. Next slide, please. Plastic pollution is now recognized as one of the greatest threats facing our environment, oceans, and human health. The production, use, and incineration of plastic is a source of greenhouse gas and directly contributes to climate change at every stage of its existence, from extraction of gas and petroleum to manufacture, use, and disposal. 8 million metric tons enter the ocean globally, annually. Plastics, the largest market is single-use packaging. It's a source of toxic chemicals contributing to negative human health impacts at every step. It is now part of the entire food chain. Next slide, please. 90% of seabirds are, are eating plastic. Tiny pieces of it, microplastics, have been found in seafood, drinking water, beer, table salt, shellfish, and even in human feces. Next. Yeah, by 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in the ocean by weight. That's the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. This stat really reaches a lot of people who haven't been paying attention to this issue. It's a big one. Next slide, please. And recycling definitely isn't the answer. Even when something says it's recyclable plastic and makes it into a bin, will it actually be recycled? Less than 9% ever has. That was at the height of 2014. Latest estimates are we're talking about less than 5%, 2.5% of any plastic is being recycled, and the majority of that is being downcycled or incinerated. Plastic is pretty much not recyclable. It's not economically even worth it to do it now. Next slide, please. So plastic production is going to increase. Oh, no. Sorry, go back one. It's skyrocketing. The fossil fuel boom is the plastic boom. The fracking boom is the plastic boom. And China's not taking our plastic trash anymore. Many other countries are not taking it anymore. They're even sending it back. And it's also not worth it to use recycled plastic in products. And we really don't know about the health implications either. So you don't want to be drinking out of something made out of recycled plastic. You probably don't want to be using products that come out of it either. But there's hope. Are we on slide 12 yet? Yes. The tide is turning, the movement is growing. Plastic pollution is an issue that millennials and Gen Z are demanding change and alternatives for. They don't want it, they don't want to own stuff, they don't want more stuff, they don't want to be drowning in stuff, in plastic in particular. Citizens around the world are seeking bans or fees. The United Nations is undertaking efforts under the Sustainable Development Goals. People, communities, progressive businesses, local governments, everyone. Zero waste shops, markets full of naked vegetables, and grains, innovative startups, common sense reusables, RFID tagged, stainless steel coffee cup you don't need to own that you can just pay a deposit on. All these things are underway. We've been doing this for 10 years. We started on October 24th, 2009, the kickoff of 350.org Day with 25 groups. And we stand on the shoulders of all of the groups and zero waste activists and sustainability experts and, you know, World War II folks who've been working on these issues. This has been a building issue and movement, and we are grateful to all that tireless work. Plastic straws are the gateway item. They may not be the biggest culprit, but they are a switch to flip that changes people's perception. And we have, from the beginning, worked to call it what it is. It's not marine debris, it's not waste, it's plastic pollution. So we look forward to working with all of you. Some of you are already members. Global CoLab is a member. We have incredible youth ambassadors that are focused on climate change, Fire Drill Fridays, Fridays for Future. They're part of the lawsuit suing the government on climate change. And we are here to support them and work with them as well. And tonight I challenge each of you to do even more to solve this global crisis. You can start by refusing plastic straws, eliminating plastic bags and bottles from your daily life, not using plastic utensils or even bioplastic cups at events. You can help by moving corporations to change. Like, we have a petition against Amazon right now to reduce the plastic in the packaging for what you get. You can sign that on our website at plasticpollutioncoalition.org. And you can support local, state, federal, and even international legislation, like what just happened on Wednesday. Honolulu passed one of the strongest ordinances now to reduce single-use plastic. The city of Berkeley, California has one of the most comprehensive foodware ordinances. And there will soon be federal legislation introduced by Senator Udall and Congressman Lowenthal that will be the first ever plastic reduction federal legislation. So last slide, please. Nature doesn't create any waste. It's only been in the past 60 to 70 years since Bakelite plastic was invented along with World War II that we have even gotten into this problem in the first place, and we're now suffocating ourselves and the planet. As Greta Thunberg says, we need to listen to the science, and we need to act now. We can do this together. Join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry, and congratulations, Julia. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you heard in that last talk, but I heard that microplastic is in beer. Now that's downright shocking. Yeah, as a beer enthusiast, we can't have that. But there's a lot of practical things that we can do. And even when you're going out shopping, if you have 2 or 3 or 4 items, you have hands. I mean, when they say you want a bag with that, you can readily say, I have 2 hands. You always kind of guilt them into like passing that forward. So just a little hack, life hack for you all. As we move to our 4th awardee, if I'll pronounce his name correctly, Eric Goppelrud is the founder of Fairfax Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions Protection. He will be introduced by Barbara Engelhardt, Leader in Energy's Board Secretary and Treasurer. Barbara is also a leader, and encouraging Arlington County Schools to become more sustainable through her work on the Sustainability Task Force the school system has established. Barbara, can you come up? And she looks really swanky there in the white leggings, right? I got a little festive here.
How am I doing this? Okay, welcome everybody. I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce our next awardee and the winner for the baby boom generation, which is my generation. So it's Dr. Eric Goppelrud. Don't know if I got that. He is the chair and the founder of an organization called Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions. The name of that organization just embraces the theme for this year of our awardee theme, truly an alliance builder. His organization works across generations, it works across all religions, it works on a nonpartisan basis, and it works with community organizations in our community here in the DC area, many of which are part of what I consider the Leaders in Energy family. He works with Eco Action Arlington, the Energy Master Program, Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, and Fairfax County. But I am truly inspired by the work that he does because I believe we all in this room, no matter what religion, what faith you are, we all have a moral obligation to address climate change for future generations. With that, I'd like to introduce Eric to share some thoughts.
Well, thank you, Barbara, and the Leaders in Energy. The award is truly for, not really me, but for the many, many wonderful people who make up the Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions. The acronym for the Faith Alliance is not random. It's called FACTS. And we base our work on the facts that climate change is real, people are causing it, and we better do something about it. We create partnerships of faith communities in Northern Virginia to develop local solutions to mitigate the climate change. We believe that climate change is the ethical and moral issue of our time. We work to unite people of all faiths who share a common value to act as responsible stewards of creation, to honor the earth that we share with all children and with the web of life. FACTS has built a powerful interfaith grassroots advocacy organization that is motivating policymakers to implement concrete actions to reduce greenhouse gases. Since its founding in a church basement in 2012, FACTS Network has expanded to more than 75 congregations across a wide spectrum of faiths, including Catholic, mainline and evangelical Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Unitarian Universalist, Buddhist, Quaker, Sikh, and Peace faith traditions. In 2018, we fostered a sister organization, the Montgomery County Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions, which now has members of more than 40 congregations in Montgomery County. And we've assisted Frederick, Maryland's Multi-Faith Alliance for Climate Stewards and a nascent interfaith network in the Shenandoah Valley. Let's see, next slide. Okay, so that shows what our mission is. Next slide. FACTS has organized advocacy teams in each of the 9 supervisory school board districts in Fairfax County. Our teams meet regularly with elected officials and their staff to show sustained, values-driven constituency for action on climate change. In our meetings, we're not Republicans or Democrats, liberals or libertarians. Rather, we're Catholics, Lutherans, Jews, Muslims, and people of no faith who are motivated by core values to advocate for ethical climate policies. Next slide. Going into our 3rd year, our Fairfax to Zero campaign has momentum. In response to our sustained advocacy and the advocacy of others, the county has increased its efforts to cut greenhouse gases. In the last 12 months, Fairfax County Board of Supervisors and the school board have created a new Office of Energy and Environment, approved a county government operations plan and put $9 million behind it to implement that plan, including $3.5 million to replace incandescent streetlights with LEDs, and $3 million to install electric vehicle charging stations. They started work on a county-wide comprehensive energy and climate action plan and appointed FACTS to the steering committee. It led contracts for solar installations on 200 schools and county buildings, the largest government procurement in the nation this year. And that team through the advocacy of high school kids who got in front of the school board. From promoting staff, the schools get to green environmental education program and the Office of Sustainability in the school's facility management department, and created a joint task force on environment between the Board of Supervisors and the school board to make change across the board, and invited FACTS participation. Our goals for the Fairfax to Zero campaign in 2020 for the Fairfax Board of Supervisors and the school board are to commit to zero greenhouse gas neutrality by 2050, if not sooner. To enact a comprehensive blueprint for achieving that goal, making policy and programmatic changes necessary to get there, to take steps to become a zero-waste county, to put their money behind it in an operational and capital improvement support plan, and to publicly report progress. In order to effect change locally, it is necessary to get state laws and regulations changed. For example, expansion of alternative energy, district power, microgrids, and building efficiency standards are all set in Richmond. We're working in coalitions of environmentalists, business, governmental groups to give localities the flexibility and tools they need to slash greenhouse gases. Next slide. We also work at the congregational level. We believe it's important, if you're going to ask others to do things, you ought to be doing them yourself. Faith communities operate a whole lot of buildings. The EPA estimates if America's 370,000 congregations were to cut energy use by just 20%, they would save nearly $630 million, cut electrical consumption by 3.6 billion kilowatts, and prevent more than 2.6 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Through the Paris Pledge program, congregations commit to make steep reductions in their greenhouse gas emissions for their buildings. One local church made the Paris Commitment Pledge 3 years ago and has cut greenhouse gases by 17%, the equivalent of 78 tons of greenhouse gases. FACTS sponsors educational and skills building programs on, for example, becoming a zero-waste church, accessing low-cost financing for energy efficiency through the CPACE program, and negotiating and contracting for solar power on their facilities. Next slide. At the personal action level, we create opportunities for children and adults to take action in their daily lives. 3 congregations this spring recycled more than 60,000 single-use plastic bags. about 750 pounds of plastic. Trex, a company that recycles plastic bags into decking planks, awarded us a recycled plastic bench, which we in turn donated to a local school. The school board publicly recognized us and recommended to the PTSAs and schools that they emulate this program. Similarly, we developed a carbon footprint game, a simple, fun way for children and adults to commit to personal action. Based on the experiences of 6 congregations, we developed an online toolkit that now at least 10 congregations in the local area have played that game last April. In sum, we believe that the maximum, next slide, attributed to Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. You've heard that a lot, right? It's really incomplete. It really should read a small group of well-organized citizens. FACTS organizes members of the faith communities to act from their deepest values to answer the threat of climate change. As Greta Thunberg warned, I want you to act as if our house is on fire, because it is. History has put climate change in our hands. To live with integrity, we cannot walk away. Thank you.
We're coming up to the kind of the victory lap of our thing. By the way, I might ask Terry, you stand up a second. Look at this. She and I are sporting the houndstooth, wearing a crowd wing for the festive season. Congratulations, Eric and Barbara, and thank you for your continued service. And one comment I'll make on your comments there is that our community is really drawn from conservatives and liberals and independents and people of all faiths and inclinations, and people that just want to do a greater good, do more with less. We have this year a final award that I'm going to bring Janine up to announce. We had so many great candidates, and I don't know, Janine, next year maybe we're going to have to do 5 gens or something like that. But we're really, you know, the new youth, the new vitality that's coming up and such is really going to warrant its own special announcement. But today we're going to give a final round. I'm going to give the keys of the party to Janine. But before we do that, I also wanted to say if anybody wanted to get a last bite to eat, I think there's still a couple scraps there. The desserts are out there. My wife Mariah and mother-in-law Anita, I think this is the 3rd round doing the helping out on the catering. We're very much a volunteer organization. One last shameless plug I'll put in: if you like what you're seeing with Leaders in Energy, please do volunteer, because Janine showed earlier that there's enormous amount of things that we can do, and many hands make for light lifting. And my last comment I'll say before I give the microphone over to you is I'd encourage you to talk to 2 or 3 of your friends about getting involved with us, because as we grow this organization locally and nationally, I mean, Nick back here is recording us. We have video coverage for people in outer areas that can see what we're doing and stay connected. I would like to see us grow the organization in 2020.
Very good, thank you, John. So without any further ado, actually, listen, I'm trying to think, maybe I should be connected here, because I'm trying to think how to get the awards. Will you bring them up? Okay, so could I have the awardees please all come up? We have the Eco Action team and all the generations. Let's have a group picture here with the awards to show the cross-collaboration of all the generations. So yeah, Eric, come on up, and Andy Houston and all the teams, and we have some beautiful plaques. By the way, we are moving on up. We normally have like a certificate in a frame, and I actually got beautiful plaques here. I'm so proud. We've got our 4Gen logo on it and Leaders in Energy. So if you want to come up later and meet some of the awardees and look at their beautiful plaques.
Is Bathsheba still here?
And John, why don't you and I bookend each of the awardees here, and we'll do a group photo. So one more person coming up. Fantastic. Okay. So this is our 4Gen awardees awards.
letting the world know I between this that George Jen and Ellen Black and Peter's and Anderson. Let's run it now. I think this is the biggest four-generation picture we've ever seen. It's like the rebuilding coalition. Thank you so much. Oh, those are yours. Yeah, those are yours. And yeah, grab the box. Yeah, those are your awards. That's, I guess, who gets the Eco Teen Action Award? You want to give it maybe to Linda and they can fight over it? Oh, 3 teens, okay. And then they can fight over it, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Sharon, okay. Very, very good. Wow, did that just like blow your mind? I just thought it was fantastic. Oh, I think in a way it was great that I was sort of sitting back. I don't know, gave me a different perspective, and wow, I am still kind of in shock over that seahorse picture. Just, yeah, really, wow. Hey, you know what? We really are working to make this a zero waste event, and I wanted to give a little shout out to Laura Lau because she brought in all of these utensils and cups and things. We specifically tried to be really careful in minimizing our waste, and we're really trying to walk the talk here. So just wanted to thank Laura for that as well. Okay, now I just want to recognize our new category, Emerging Leaders. As I said, we just had many applications. It was not easy to select our awardees, but I think you will agree that the ones that we had were just did a wonderful job, doing wonderful work. And I'd now like to call up our awardees, Karen Camblin and Lee Williams, to recognize them with the Virginia New Deal Coalition. Just want to really commend you for all the wonderful work you're doing, and thank you for joining us. And we wanted to give you this as a token of our esteem. Well, they share it because they're working together, and that is for Vitra. Yeah, I guess what I want to say too is I really like how you're both working together. I like that co-leadership approach. I think that's also perfect for our theme of collaboration and partnership and coalition. So thank you. Thank you for coming, and best of luck. And now I would like to do a shout out and ask Mitra, help me out. You've got the script. I'm just like blanking out on so many names. I'm sorry, Kashani.
Kashani.
I'm sorry, apologize. Nitra Kashani. I mean, that's a good problem to have. So many awardees. It's like, wow, so many good things going on. But Mitra, please come up. Mitra was the founder of the Mason Environmental Justice Alliance. And just wonderful the work that you're doing. And if you want to maybe get a little of us here. But again, congratulations, and really appreciate what you're doing at George Mason University. And I understand that they got a shout out for you from all the professors and the students. And so anyhow, thank you for George Mason coming over.
All you three is awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, John, what is next? I think our connections next. I need to do a quick connections, and I can get my folder.
I was looking at the music selection over there, Oh yeah, there I am. And I don't know, I mean, like, it's what Tommy, do we want to do Bing Crosby here for the remaining moments, or don't know, I'm kind of a Queen fan. Queen created sets, you know. Oh, well, hang on. She rides me like a wrecked mule, doesn't she? All right, so first of all, let's do one last shout out for everybody that had got recognized here today. Andy, Eva, Krishika, Kayla, Sydney, Marika, Julia, Eric, Karen, Lee, Mitra. Big round of applause for all of our awardees that we have. I was going to thank William Ellis, who has graciously provided us this awesome venue, and hopefully we'll be in good standing to be able to be back here again. For Mom's Organic Market, I mean, one thing I'll say that when Leo and I, where's Leo? Get a hand up there. There's my buddy over there. When we went to go gather the food that Moms had provided for us, one thing I noticed in their produce section, just the place up in York Avenue, and all the moms are pretty much the same. They were kind of saying, you know, our produce department is small because we like quick turnover and fresh food. And I thought that was kind of interesting. When you go into these big places, we were talking earlier, it was talking about food and other people talking about food, that we have so much waste, food waste, and we won't have as much food waste if you don't have to put out as much. Keep it fresh, return it quicker. So we also, if we can showcase all of our, no, go one more. There you go, that's a good one. We have had 19, I'm sorry. All right. Do we have 3? Can we hit 20? I mean, if anybody out here wants to put something in, you know, I'm not going to be bashful. One thing I'll just say about what Janine does is that this is a volunteer organization, and for folks that have looked at some of the generous things that have been offered, I mean, this really is what she does to fund doing all the stuff. So I encourage everybody to take one last pass to see if there's something that really kind of warms your heart, you know, to have under the Christmas tree or what have you. Right now it's about 8:22. Yeah. Oh yes, well and then one thing we always swallow about internally is the tightness of time and all. And Carrie, thank you for doing that. She had the little moment thing to try to keep us on track. And I don't like to be one that, no, I don't think so. I got a little bit of blood here. Yeah, this is the mom and Janine over here. I got dinged or something. But go take a look if you'd like for the silent auction. I think we're going to shut that down in about 10 minutes. So if anybody, we're going to do the shout outs, and this is always fun. The quick shout outs.